Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my shed. I'm spending another fun day in the shed here, recuperating, for those of you who don't know, after shoulder surgery, fairly major tendon reconstructions and all that. It was 1 week ago. So I'm only able to use my left arm. I mean, I can kind of prop things with my right hand. Hang on, I'll tilt the camera down. So I've got to wear this sling all the time, and I can use my wrist and fingers, but I can't move my arm or shoulder without full support because we don't want the tendons to rip back off the bone. This video isn't about my shoulder. This is about some jobs I'm doing in my shed, and I'm sharing some tricks with you guys, and I'm developing some tricks to do things with only my left hand. Now, I'm not left-handed. In fact, I'm not even close to ambidextrous. But I can show you that I've been putting some of these power boards up today. You know the ones, these things. Of course, that's the Australian plug configuration, but I think they're pretty well the same around the world as far as you usually get a gang of 4 or 5 outlets. Sometimes they're switched, sometimes they're not. Great for the workshop, great for any room in the house where you have a lot of power requirements, but how do you mount them easily on the wall? Now, it's tricky enough with 2 arms. You've got these keyhole type mounting holes. You've got to either measure the exact distance and put the screws into the wall. There's a number of methods involving using templates, and one of the easiest ones I've seen is just really to put some tape, some either painter's tape or masking tape across it, poke a little sharp screwdriver or pencil or something through the holes, peel the tape off, stick the tape to the wall, and there you have your holes. So that's probably the easiest way. However, it's a bit difficult for me to work with tape with one hand. So I've put 2 of these up this afternoon. Let me show you. This one just here I've put up because I added this set of shelves to the bench and it actually hides the PowerPoint. So I've put that, and that's a 6 outlet board, and I've just mounted that to the plywood wall cladding, and it's nice and straight and level and secure. And I've also mounted one under the bench, and I think it's great to have power outlets just under the front of your bench in any sort of workshop, because when you're working on something on the bench you don't have the cord from the appliance draping across the bench. So I'm going to extend that one and tap that one into the one that I've got over there. So I've got power outlets everywhere, but it's a good chance while I'm stuck in my shed and can't do much to get organized. So I've put those 2 up today just with my left hand. Let me show you how I did it. Now hopefully you can see this angle okay. There's our power board. We're going to turn it over, and I've cut a piece of cardboard. It's not thick cardboard, but it's not very thin card either. It's sort of a double laminated one. You could use thicker, but you wouldn't want to go thinner. And you can see there's holes in this already from, well, I've used it for 2 power boards already. So what I'm going to do is I just found some screws in my assortment box of self-tappers, and we all have assortment boxes of all sorts of screws, but these ones are rounded on the head and they're self-tappers and they're quite pointy, and they're the best ones. Now they've got a pretty wide head, so they don't fit into the slot. They'll sit neatly in it, and the round domed head of the screw allows them to center very easily. So I kind of made this up as I went along. As I said, normally the masking tape template is probably the quickest way to go, but if you're limited with your movements and only have one hand, this worked for me. So once we've done that, they should stay in position. If you find that they don't sit neatly and they do fall out easily, you could put a little bit of blue tack or something underneath them to hold them in position. But I'm just going to push the cardboard onto top of them, and they will push into the board and hopefully stay there. They certainly did the first few times I did it. And by having the cardboard having a nice straight edge, I can't really do much with my right hand, but I can just use my fingers. You can line the edge of the cardboard up with the edge of the power board, and then your holes will be pretty well in line with the board on the wall or wherever you're going to put it. It'll just help keep it sort of square. I'm going to do this purely one-handed, and if I just plonk it down there and then put some pressure on it, and one of those screws fell over. Okay, these holes are a little bit bigger than they were on the other power boards because I didn't have that trouble. We'll try it again. Okay, and a bit of pressure here with my taboo right hand, and on the left one as well. Now you don't want to push the screws far enough through to spike your fingers, but you want the screws to stay in the cardboard. There we go, look at that. So they will be the exact distance we require, and they should be pretty well the same distance from the edge of the cardboard. So what I'm going to do now is move the power board out of the road, turn this over. Well, I'll make sure they're not going to fall out, so let's put a little bit of pressure in them. So they're not going to fall out, so we'll turn them over and we'll get some tape, some masking tape. So I know I am using my right hand fingers here, but I'm certainly not using my arm, and I would have a lot of trouble in, I'm even having trouble tearing it. There we go. I would have a lot of trouble trying to spread this out with limited movement. All I wanted to do is just make a loop, which is kind of done on its own there, stick it on the back, and now we can use that to adhere our cardboard straight to where we want to mount the power board. Let's mount this one under the bench next to the other one. I'm not going to leave it there, but for the demonstration purposes, let's put two under the bench. Okay, the light's not probably brilliant under here, but we'll see how we go. So because the edge of the cardboard was lined up with the edge of the power board, we can pretty well put the edge of the cardboard up against the underneath of the bench. Then we can just press it there. Because we put that little bit of tape there, it will hold it. And now all I'm going to do is get my trusty cordless drill and screw these screws into the wood, as long as they don't fall out of the cardboard. And the other side one as well. And now we can actually take them out, because the only reason for doing that was to put a hole into the wood. And that ends our requirement to use the cardboard. And we now have two holes, if you can see that, two holes into the wood, the right distance apart and the right distance down from the top. We just have to select some screws now that will go into those keyholes. Okay, I found some smaller screws. Now the head needs to be small enough to go in the large part of the keyhole, but it needs to be large enough that it doesn't slip through the narrow part. These are a little small for the job, but that's all I could find at the moment, and I'll certainly show you that this method works. So all we need to do is to put these screws into the holes we've already made. We do need to leave them proud a little bit, just so that there's room for the board to slip under the head of them. Okay, hopefully this light's a bit better now. I should have done this before. Anyway, just with my left hand, I can start these screws in the holes that we've already put in the right position. And it's just a matter then of drilling them into the required depth. So, no straining with my right arm. I'm getting better at using the drill in my left. Oops, wrong way. So I'll do it to there. If the board is too loose when it clips on, we can put the screws in a little bit further. If the board doesn't quite go on, they might be a bit tight. Let's get the cord out of the road and attach the board and slot it down. It's a bit loose at one end. That's pretty good. That's firm. I think that's probably good first up, and you will see that it's nice and square to the base of the bench. In fact, that fits really snugly there. If I didn't already have one underneath this bench, I would possibly keep that, but that's in my road. This is where my knees go. But anyway, that just shows you how you can mount one of these very accurately, nice and level, quite solidly, just with your non-preferred hand if you have to. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe I should have called my channel the One-Armed Bandit or something, but I certainly don't intend on staying one-armed for too long, but I do have to be very careful to rest it. And I've had a good day in the shed again. Didn't do a lot, but, you know, got a little bit more organised. Got those power boards done. Hope you enjoyed that little demonstration. Maybe I should do a series on everything you've always wanted to do in your shed one-handed, but were afraid to try. Look, there's a lot of jobs I can't get to, but I can do all these fiddly little things. I'm going to start some unboxing videos soon. I'm going to start some small restorations soon. So I hope you're enjoying my channel. Thanks for coming along again. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.